Okay, in this video you're going to learn how to make a GIF or GIF depending on the way you prefer to say that. File type. Basically, a GIF is a little short animation that just loops forever and ever. They can be used for a lot of different reasons. Today we're just going to learn how to do them, how to make one. So what you need first of all is two pictures, and they can either be connected or not. Generally they're more interesting if they kind of relate to each other or if they suggest movement. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my first one, which is a pair of scissors. And then you're going to open your next one, and when you do, you have to make sure you open it as a layer. That means it's going to open up in this same document. It's not going to open up as like a whole separate file. So we're going to go ahead and open as layer. I'm going to select my second picture. Keep orientation. There we go. So now you can see I have these two pictures, and when they're next to each other, back and forth, they kind of look like it's open and close of the scissors. So that's going to be my simple animation. From here on out, it's pretty easy. All I have to do is go to Filters, Animation, and then Playback. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can tell here, but this big window just popped up. It's enormous. And I can't scale it down. It doesn't let me. So we're going to kind of problem solve here as to why this is happening. It looks like my file size is enormous. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. And let me go to Image, Scale Image. And if you have this problem in any other project that you're doing, this could be the issue, especially if you're using a nice camera. I'm going to, right now it's in pixels. I'm going to go ahead and change that to inches so I can easily see. And there you go. This image right now, the data in it is saying that it's 45 inches wide and 34 inches tall. That's a huge image. So of course this might even slow down my computer. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and lower that down, especially for something like a GIF animation. That's not something that needs to be high quality. You're not printing it for an ad. It's just going to be something that maybe gets posted online. So it doesn't need to be super high quality. I'll go ahead and change it to like 5 by 3 inches. That seems a lot more reasonable. So I scaled it. I'll adjust my zoom so I can actually see my project. Now let's see what happens when I go to Filters, Animation, and Playback. Okay, so this little window pops up, and this will preview my GIF animation. So here I'll hit play, and it's going super fast. So you can play around with the speed here, adjust it to 0.25. You can adjust, this is FPS, means frames per second. So if you had 100 frames, you can decide how many frames per second you want it to go. So that's another adjustment. When you get it how you want it, go ahead and just exit out. And then you will go to File, and then Export As. Don't save it, export it. So export as, and then I'll go ahead and name it. I'm going to just name mine scissors. Make sure that I'm selected on GIF image. And then whenever you guys do this, I haven't covered this in previous videos, but whenever you adjust the file type down here, make sure it changes up here. It'd be nice if GIMP would automatically do that, but for whatever reason, they don't. I'm going to make sure that I'm saving it to my desktop, export. And this other window will pop up. And when you first do this, it might have this unchecked. You want to make sure you check that as animation. If you don't, it might just save it as a solid image, not with any animation. So you have to click as animation, and then it's going to loop forever as opposed to just looping or playing one time and then stopping. So go ahead and export it. And here it showed up on my desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and double click, open it. And you'll notice that when you open this image, it'll pop up in Google Chrome, or your web browser to kind of display it. So there we go. I have my first GIF. So now, if you feel confident, you can run through it. I'm going to make another one really quickly, though, just to show you kind of how interesting this is. All right, here's just another idea. Saving you guys some time. I already have all the images in here. Just basically slowly took pictures as I chopped an apple in half. And you can see kind of here as I reveal all the pictures, that's kind of what we're looking at. So I already scaled it too by going to Image, Scale Image. You might not even have to do that, but for some reason on my end, I have to do that or else it's enormous. So I already scaled it. I'm going to go ahead and go to Filter, Animation, Playback. And so here's the preview. Go ahead and play. And that's pretty good movement right there. Just so you guys can see it, if I up the frames per second to 30, it goes super fast, a little faster than I think is visually nice. So there we go. Leave it at that. Go ahead and exit out. File, export as. Knife, GIF image. Export. Export. And let's see what this looks like. There it is. Okay, for this GIF idea, I just wanted to give you a little, one more pointer, I guess, of something, an idea of what you could do. So here I have two different images. I took them without moving the camera too much. I think I did move the camera a little bit. But with one image missing, again, you could do this with your face, you could do this with a person, you could do this with other objects. It's up to you how you want to do this. But what I can do here is File, Export as this first image. I'll just do image 1 as a JPEG. I don't want to save it as a GIF yet. I'll show you why. So I'll export it as image 1. Now, maybe what I'll do is change the opacity to maybe 75. And I'll go ahead and export as image 2. And now maybe I'll change that down to 50. File, export as image 3. And then maybe I'll lower that opacity down. Oops, I think I was just in the wrong image. Here we go. Down to 25. There we go. File, export as image 4. Export. And then finally, maybe I'll lower it right down to 0. File, export as image 5. Okay, now I'm going to make my GIF. So I'm going to go ahead and open my image 1, open as layers, image 2, open as layers, image 3, open as layers, image 4, open as layers, image 5. Okay, so now I think you guys can gather what's going to happen here. That one object is going to look as though it's slowly fading away. So we'll go ahead and go to Filters, Animation. Let's see if I'm going to have to adjust the size. I will, because it's enormous. Okay. Image, Scale Image. Go ahead and look at these inches again. 45 inches. Okay. Scaled. Now let's see how to go. Filter, Animation, Playback. And let's see what this looks like. Pretty cool. Now I can lower down. I think I want that to go a little bit slower. Still not quite as smooth because I did do pretty big jumps. I went from 100% opacity to 75 and then to 50. I think you could do this more, make more of a spooky transition if you kind of had more frames. So at some point, if you just don't have enough frames, it's not going to look as smooth. All right, so there is another idea for something that you could do to make your GIF. That is all, and good luck.